In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make the three-dimensional hand exemplar that's in your kit. In this process, you're going to use two mediums. You're going to use dental stone and an impression foam called biofoam. Let me just show you the process before we get started. The first component, of course, this is dental stone, and this we're going to mix with water. The casting or the medium that we're going to use for the impression is this biofoam brick. It's very delicate, so you have to handle it very carefully. I'm going to be placing my hand down into the foam, making this impression. When that's done, then I'll mix up the casting stone with the water, and I'll pour it into the foam and then wait 24 hours. So let's begin the process right now by the first thing that I like to do is to water down the biofoam slightly. And I can take my water and sprinkle it and just get a little bit of water on it. This will prevent the dust from getting airborne. This is very dusty, and it's good to just put a little bit of water on it. I have it ready right now, and the next thing that I'm going to have to do is decide what hand. You can start with your right or left hand. And I'm going to place my hand, I want to have a nice margin all the way around it because we're forming a pool. And we have to have, so that when the dental stone goes into it, it forms a little pond or a pool. So this impression is going to be the mold. So now I'm pushing down, I'm using one hand to push it down, and I want to go in evenly. Now I need to go in deep enough so that the fingers are thick so that they won't break when the cast is made. So I'm just continuing to push down. I'm going to just push the right index down a little bit further here. And that'll show even more of the three-dimensional aspects of the hand. Now I think I have it pressed nice and flat. Now I'm going to pull up my hand, and there's my impression. I can look at it and see the flexure creases and a lot of the skin folds that are in the hand. What you might want to do is just tap it a little bit, and this is going to release any dust or particles that would be hard. The process continues now to opening up your dental stone bag. Now these are packaged in double bags. Of course, you're going to pour the water into the inner bag. And I'm going to check my water volume. I used a little bit. I'm going to make sure it's right at 10 ounces. So if you pour 10 ounces into this, you'll have the exact right amount. So I pour it in, seal it at the top. Now this prevents the dust from the dental stone from releasing. So now I can mix this up really well and shake it. Can be pretty sure it's not going to break because there's two bags here. And you can actually hear it mixing. So what I want to do is make sure that there's no clumps. I want it thoroughly mixed. And now I have a real mixed up solution, and it's ready to go. I'm going to do one more thing on this since I have a little bit of room. Right here, I'm going to just put a finger impression. Now I should be able to pour that, and I could put another one here. Okay. So my medium is mixed. It's ready to go. Now this is the same medium that they use at crime scenes to pour footwear impressions and tire track impressions. It's preferred over plaster of Paris. It's a lot easier to work with, and the advantage of this is you don't really have to use a frame. Now here I'm going to be pouring right into, there we go, that's fine. I'm pouring into this little lake of a hand, and I can do the finger here. And it's okay if it spills over a little bit, no problem. There we go. Okay, this was a real wet pour. Sometimes if there's a little bit more powder, it won't be quite this wet, but this is totally okay because this is going to dry and it's going to be fine. All right, so I'm finished here. Of course, this goes into the trash. And now what I want to do is I like to take and tap the sides a little bit. You can see that there's a few air bubbles coming. And this is going to release all the air bubbles. This is what they do with concrete. They vibrate it and the air bubbles come up to the top. So I've got this, and give it about 2 hours and you can move it. Give it 24 hours and you can clean it. I highly recommend not cleaning this cast until you wait 24 hours. You want to give it time not only to dry, but to completely cure. When it's cured, you don't have to worry about breaking it when you're cleaning it. Even though you may think it's hard enough after a few hours, it is not ready to clean. Please give it 24 hours. So I can slide this away, and let's look at the one that's already hard. Let's say 24 hours later, we've got a hard one. The same process, you can add some water to keep the dust down if you want to spray it or mist it. At this point now, this hand is, this exemplar is so hard, it's not going to break. So the process begins by first breaking off the big chunks. Now this is where a little bit of it spilled over, but we could just break that off. So now we have the area closest to the dental stone, and it can just be peeled off, and it's just a matter of rubbing it off, getting the majority of it off. And you can also use you can use a brush on it. Now my fingernail is not going to scratch this. This is so hard. So what I'm going to do is just keep rubbing it off. Then I can take my toothbrush and start fine-tuning it. And I like to leave a little bit of the blue in there. So if you kind of give it a gentle touch, the blue actually gives it some relief, and it makes it easier to see the crevices. Okay, so why are we doing this? Again, this is a 3D hand exemplar. We're studying the skin structure of the hand, and we know, of course, the different regions. The first joint is the tip, second joint, third joint. Now I'm scrubbing the interdigital region of the palm. Let's go to the thenar, cleaning up the thenar area. This is coming off real nice. It'll be good if I don't sneeze. There's the thumb. Remember, the thumb is on the radius bone side. Okay, now I'm doing the hypothenar, which is associated with the little finger and the ulna bone. And we're getting all these terms in here. And I think you should see how well this is turning out. Now I'm doing this real time, so and bear with me. Okay, I think that for now this is good. Now obviously this isn't my hand. You can see the size of it. This was Actually, this looks like my wife's hand. Okay, it's pretty cleaned up, and this is about as good as it's going to get, okay? So here is the finished hand exemplar. It's all good to go. It will last a long time. It's thick enough that it should be plenty stable, and you'll be able to use it to remember the skin regions of the hand and understand the basics of pouring a mold, recovering a three-dimensional exemplar, and this will help you understand the skin regions of friction ridge identification. I hope you enjoyed this, and I have other videos on casting hands that you can watch also.